Right here I have a 2022 Ram 2500, and I'm gonna do both fuel filters. I'm gonna have to do a voiceover because I can't really do a whole video at the shop. So here's the first one at the top. That little yellow thing is the drain fill. So what you're supposed to do is turn it counterclockwise, a quarter turn, and loosen the fuel filter cap, that piece of plastic. Here's a little picture from the filter on how to do it. So you're supposed to, as you can see in number one, you're supposed to loosen the top and drain it for a while. For I think they said about 2 minutes. Then take out the filter, take off the old gasket, the O-ring, put in a new one. And on number three, as you can see, it says put in the new one, but I think it also says top it off with fuel. But I had Mitchell said you don't top it off with fuel. So do it the way you can. Here I use the 28 socket. They make a special one just to take off the fuel filters on these cars. That's the setup I had. A couple extensions, a wobble to take it off. And what I'm showing right here is where it drains. That plastic tube right there, that's where it goes down. As you can see, it's in the front differential, on top of the front differential. So if you need like a drain pan, that's where you set it. All right. So here I'm taking it off. All right. And as you can see, it's full because I forgot to loosen the top part. But once I take off the cap and open the drain again, it starts to come down on its own. So just be careful and be ready to have a drain pan under it. It's only a quarter turn counterclockwise. All right. So you just take off your old one, put in your new one. I think it has an oval shape at the bottom, so there's only like a certain way you can put it in. And then it'll just click in. And then the old one, you have to replace it because that O-ring expands due to the fuel. So what you want to do is clean it up around the area so the new one doesn't expand over time. And here I'm just putting it on the new one. And just make sure it goes into its ridge, or else it will leak. So be careful. So here's the second one. That's at the bottom. It has a little drain there too. It's on top of the drive shaft by the gas tank and also by the exhaust. They didn't have any pictures on the fuel filter for this one. So this is the way I do it. I just let it drain. And be careful because it's gonna splash onto the shield, onto the exhaust, onto the drive shaft. So I'll let it drain for a while. And again, be careful because there's still more that's gonna come out. Unfortunately, you're just gonna get soaked in diesel. Unfortunately, every time I try to do them, there's no way to avoid it. You're just gonna get diesel on you. So after it's done somewhat draining, take off the cap. Then there's an O-ring on that cap that you have to take off. And this one you just pull out. Sometimes it will get stuck, but just play around with it a little bit. You'll get it off. All right. That's how it looks inside. So what they say on the instructions is to lube up those two O-rings on the new filter. So I just put some silicone on it. And then I think there's a certain way you can only put the filter. So it says to put the filter in because I think there's tabs up there on the filter, on this little filter, this little screen. There's a certain way that you can put the filter onto that screen, that plastic screen. So it'll click, as you can see, and it'll just stay on there. All right. And as you can see, this one, the O-ring is on the filter, and make sure to clean everything up. So you don't get fuel on the O-ring, and then you don't want it to expand. And then if it does, the next time it'll just be harder to take it off. And what I like to do before I even take the oil filter off, I mark the cap to the housing because it's plastic. So sometimes it's kind of hard to tell how tight you want to go. So what I do is I mark them like with a white marker and tighten it back to where the markings meet, because sometimes it's gonna feel like it's tight but it's not tight and you still got like a couple turns to go. So that's what I would do. I didn't do it because I kind of have a feel for it, and just clean everything up. All right, especially the exhaust because you don't want that burning off. Clean the drive shaft. I just clean it with brake clean. So here what I'm going to show is the instructions I got from Mitchell. If you want to take your time and read it, go ahead, go and read it. But basically that's about it. The next thing you want to do is prime it. There's a way to prime it. If you want to read this, that's the way you prime it. I think you're supposed to turn the ignition on, wait 30 seconds, turn it off, and then you do that about 5 times, I believe. But pause the video and read it. It's been a long time since I did this one, so hopefully that helps you out. And then you also want to reset the fuel filter life. To reset the fuel filter life on this, you're gonna use these buttons here. All right, the car must be off or in the run position. So ignition on, engine off. So you're gonna go down to that number 2. You're just gonna go to the side until you find fuel filter life. One more right there, and you just hold this button. Go down, and that's it.